The alarm cut through the silence of the ship like a blade through water, and I was on my feet before my mind even understood why. Red light spun across the walls of the control room. Laura was already at the panel, her fingers moving fast over the controls, but I saw her hand shake for a second before she steadied it. I did not think much of it then. There was no time to think of anything except the numbers climbing on the screen in front of us. We were 11 days into a 14-day mission, sent to repair a damaged relay station floating alone at the edge of a dead system. Our ship, the Horizon Drift, was old, patched together with parts from 3 different fleets, and it groaned every time we pushed it past its limits. That night, it was being pushed harder than ever. A wall of debris was moving toward us, remains of a shattered moon, spinning fragments of rock and metal that could tear through our hull in seconds if we did not change course in time. Laura called out numbers, and I typed them into the navigation system, my heart pounding so loud I could hear it over the alarm. We turned the ship just in time. The debris passed beside us, close enough that we heard pieces of it scrape against the outer plating, a sound like nails dragging across steel. Then it was gone, and the alarm stopped, and the silence returned, heavier than before. I looked at Laura. She was breathing hard, her face pale under the red emergency light that was fading back to white. She gave me a small smile, the kind she always gave when something dangerous had just passed. "Good work," she said. "You did the hard part," I said. "I just typed numbers." She laughed, but the laugh ended too quickly, cut off like she had swallowed a sound of pain. I noticed it, but I did not ask. Not yet. That was day 11. It was not the first time I had seen something like that. I had been paired with Laura 3 years ago, back when the fleet still had enough ships to spare 2 engineers for every mission. She was sharp, quick to solve problems, and always the first to volunteer for the tasks nobody else wanted. She never complained. Not once in 3 years had I heard her say she was tired or hurt or afraid. That should have been a good thing. Instead, it worried me more each day. It started on day 1, on the morning we left the station. She had been carrying a heavy toolbox, and I saw her flinch slightly when she lifted it onto the shelf. She said it was nothing, just a stiff shoulder from sleeping wrong. I believed her. Why would I not? On day 3, I noticed she had stopped using her right arm to open the heavy door to the engine room, switching to her left instead, even though she had always used her right. When I asked, she said her left arm needed the exercise. I laughed at the joke and let it go. On day 6, during a routine check of the ship's outer hull, she went quiet for almost an hour, focused so completely on her work that she barely spoke. When I asked if she was all right, she said she was only concentrating. I told myself that made sense. She was always careful with her work. By day 9, I began to see a pattern instead of separate small moments. She was skipping meals, saying she was not hungry, though I had never known her to skip a meal in 3 years. She moved slower in the mornings, though she hid it well by starting her tasks before I woke up. She rubbed her side sometimes, quickly, like she was brushing away a mosquito, but there were no mosquitoes on a ship like ours. I began watching her more closely, not because I doubted her, but because something inside me refused to accept that everything was fine. Humans are strange that way. We notice silence more than sound. We notice the things people do not say more than the things they do. On day 11, after the debris field passed us, I decided I could not stay quiet any longer. I found her in the small room where we kept the medical supplies, though she was not treating anything, only standing there, looking at the shelves like she was trying to decide something. I asked her directly this time, "Laura, are you hurt?" She turned to me, and for the first time in 3 years I saw something break in her expression, just for a moment, before she pulled it back into place. "I am fine," she said. "We have 3 more days. I do not want to slow us down." "You are not slowing anything down," I said, "but I have seen you flinch for 11 days straight. I have seen you change which arm you use, skip meals, and go quiet when the pain gets worse. I am not asking as your partner on this mission. I am asking as your friend." She was silent for a long moment, and I thought she might still refuse to answer. Then she sat down slowly, careful with her movements, and lifted the side of her jacket just enough to show me a bruise that had spread dark and deep across her ribs, the kind of bruise that comes from something much worse than sleeping wrong. "There was an accident before we left," she said quietly. "A support beam fell during loading. I thought it would heal on its own. I did not want to report it because if I did, they would have replaced me on this mission, and you would have been sent with someone new. I did not want that." I felt something tighten in my chest, not anger, but a kind of fear that came late, 3 days late. "You should have told me," I said. "I know," she said, "but some things are hard to say out loud, even to someone you trust." I did not scold her. I did not have the heart for it, not when I could see how tired she truly was beneath the strength she had shown me every single day. Instead, I opened the medical kit and began to treat the bruise properly, wrapping it with care, giving her something for the pain that she had been hiding from both of us. 3 more days, I said, but you are not lifting anything heavy again until we are home. I will handle it. She nodded, and for the first time in 11 days, I saw her shoulders relax completely, like she had been carrying 2 things all along, the injury and the secret, and now only one remained. The final 3 days were not easy. The ship still groaned under strain, and the relay station still needed repairs that pushed both of us to our limits. But something had changed between us. I watched her more carefully now, not with worry, but with attention, the kind you give someone you have decided to protect no matter what. On day 13, another storm of debris passed near us, smaller than before but still dangerous. This time, I did not wait for her to call out the numbers. I called them first, giving her arm the rest it needed, letting my hands do the work while hers healed. She looked at me with something like gratitude, though she never said the word out loud. She did not need to. I understood it in the way she let me help, in the way she stopped hiding the small signs of pain instead of pushing through them alone. On the final day, as we docked the Horizon Drift back at the home station, she turned to me before we stepped out. "Thank you for noticing," she said. "Most people would not have." "I almost did not," I said honestly. "It took me 11 days to understand what I was seeing." "But you did understand," she said. "That is what matters." I thought about that for a long time afterward, long after the mission ended, and the memory of the debris storms faded into just another story among many. I thought about how easy it is to overlook pain that someone chooses to hide, and how much courage it takes for someone to finally show it, even to one person, even after 14 days. I still work with Laura today. She still tends to push herself harder than she should, and I still watch for the small signs, the flinch, the switched hand, the quiet moment that lasts too long. But now she lets me see them sooner. She knows I will not judge her for it. She knows I will simply notice and help without asking her to explain more than she is ready to share. That, I have learned, is what real trust looks like between 2 people who face danger together. It is not about being fearless. It is about allowing someone else to see the moments when fear and pain are real, and trusting that they will stay close instead of walking away. 14 days taught me that lesson, out there in the cold silence of space, far from anyone who could have helped us if we had needed it. All we had was each other, and in the end, that was enough.